We best engage with children's voices when we can embed it in children's day-to-day settings, embed it in our day-to-day practice, rather than it being a tokenistic display. We actively listen to children, and we actively listen to what it is children are saying and how they are expressing their views of their world. And we don't just listen with our ears, but we listen with our eyes. We listen and engage and tune in with children by observing how they act, by observing their gesture, by observing their gaze, by observing their body language as they act in their worlds. And from that we can interpret what it is that's important to them.
We use the early years learning framework in everything that we do in the preschool, and the key themes of being, belonging, becoming collect so well with this project, because particularly about how the children belong to a community, and in this particular community, which is quite complex, a lot of our families don't always feel that they belong to the community. So part of our curriculum is to engage the families in the local community. So this project linked really well with that.
I think this project, Child Friendly SA, was such a powerful way to look at children as being powerful in the age that they are, being powerful at 3.5, having a voice, finding a sense of belonging. What we did in this project was really, really reflective of what the early years learning framework is telling us, that children need to be and they need to feel that sense of belonging. And to feel that sense of belonging, we feel that they need to be listened to. We felt that asking these questions and really taking a step back and listening to what they were saying created for them a very powerful sense of identity and belonging, which is so linked to the early years learning framework.
Students being involved in leadership within the school is really important from a number of points of view. One is about building school culture, so we want our students to feel really connected with the school and to feel like they have a genuine voice. It's also about learning, and students not only developing skills themselves but also developing that sense of efficacy about what impact they can have in the school and in the community.
I thought it was really important to look at the rights and responsibilities of the student, which was then being able to reflect the civics and citizenship part of the Australian curriculum. I think it's important that we develop the topic into our curriculum so that it's embedded, and so then that way it's a part of the learning for the students, for them as the council to come in and to be able to say, right, this is a community project that we wanted to focus on. How can we get you involved in getting out into the community and making a difference and getting your voice and influence in the decision making?
For me, it's actually about a process, not a program, and we actually want this to be a process that is enhanced and developed across the whole Gilda community, not just a one-off program, and so it's sustainable.
So we started to create a city, and we put it to the children and asked them, if you could have anything that you would like in this city, it's a dream city, you choose what it is that you'd like to have in this city, what would it be?
They started with their rights, and then they learnt about their responsibilities that go with their rights, and then they looked at their community, and then they actually went and did some investigation of their own community. So it was really exciting to see the children grow.
We decided to do a little project with the Tree of Dreams, which was asking children about their dream places and where they liked, whether they had visited a place that they really loved, or in their imagination, what would they see if they closed their eyes and saw their dream place.
So some of the initial activities that we began with were collecting some cameras. We offered them to the children out here in the big garden. They sort of headed around the garden and took pictures of anything they could see. Most of it was natural stuff, whether it was bark chips or leaves or their friends, those kinds of things. We then encouraged the children to take them home and head out into their communities and take some photos of things they did on their weekends.
To match a face in a photo with the Nana you always hear about is it lends something much more personal and intimate to the relations we have with the children here. What I learned about myself and for my professional learning journey was to trust the children with more than I had realised, to trust them with cameras, to trust them with coming to understand what a community actually is, to trust them to lead us on the journey that is important to them.
Trust is the key to this engagement. Trust between adults and children. And by trust, I mean that the engagement is implemented in settings with adults that children know and are familiar with. Adults trust in children's capacity to so engage, to speak their minds, to share what is important to them, to give their opinions. Equally important, though, is children's trust in adults, that the engagement will be worthwhile and it will have consequence and make a difference in their lives.
What questions you're going to ask a group of teenagers are going to be very different to the way you engage under 5s or the 8 to 12-year-old age group. Having a variety of fun activities to engage young people in about their thoughts, their ideas, their visions for the present and for the future.
When we're working with adolescents or even young people in the middle years, we really need to think afresh about environments and mechanisms and activities that are not only developmentally appropriate but meaningful and relevant. Because I think that adolescents recognise when we are being tokenistic and they won't meaningfully engage if it's not something that's relevant and important for them to have a voice about.
This empowered quite a few students, particularly one who was very active and vocal. He'd been trying to get community voice in other forums but was not successful in doing that. He became really involved with Student Voice after that, wanted to be part of the meetings, wanted to be one of the students who was surveyed. Just the growth and leadership that the kids took on board was really good.
So when we talked to the children towards the end of the project about what they would like out of this project, a lot of the children said they wanted natural aspects. They wanted trees to be able to climb, they wanted rocks to jump off of, and interestingly lots of children said that they would really like to have bikes to use with their families that they could use in a place like Thorndon Park, which the children identified with, and have them there to use with their families as they wanted to.
What's your favourite thing at the park?
Slide.
The slide. Which slide?
A big one.
A big one?
Because there's a lot of different things for everyone. There's places for football, there's swings, there's fishing areas, and there's a place for a barbecue.
Okay. So when you say rock wall, what does a rock wall look like?
Like stacks of rocks made into a wall with all the ideas on it.
I definitely think for the school community it'd be nice to have more contact with experts and people who are in the workforce so that we know we can ask them about what it's like in their career, so we know roughly where we're headed and what we should be expecting for when we leave school.
What kind of things did we want, do you remember?
I said I want gumboots.
And why was it important to tell them that we wanted gumboots?
Because we didn't have any.
We didn't have any to play in the mud.
I think the key messages that came out very, very strongly about what the children would like in their community and what they wanted in their city was things and places where they could have leisure and recreation. And it was places where they spent time with loved ones, family and friends.
Places for family and friends to come together and enjoy, along with nature and wildlife, were some of the themes identified. So the children came up with ideas around natural play, unstructured play.
The overarching things were certainly play spaces, but also one of the major things was a map, a children's map, one where it was easy for children to read and children friendly. Didn't have lots of words on it, didn't have lots of directions as such. It was more an interactive type map.
An exciting part for me was to work with a senior special class. Ben and Thomas in particular went on excursions. What really came out, and the mainstream kids noticed it, was that the young people with a disability were attracted to the bright equipment in the playgrounds. So they wanted to play on the little children's equipment, but they didn't fit on the little children's equipment. Then they visited a playground just out of Gawler, and it was about 10 kilometres away, and there was outdoor fitness equipment. And just to see the photos of these children with an intellectual disability actually having fun on equipment, and to hear the mainstream children say, I'm so pleased to see them having fun. They don't look funny on that equipment, they just fit in, so it's been wonderful.
We have designed an adult fitness gym to target teenagers. We think it would be great in our community. It would be used by people of many age groups.
We have made trees and benches and used brown plasticine for the dirt and green plasticine for the grass. We also made a surfboard.
We like to look after our bodies, and if this was available in our community, it would benefit all of us.